I'm sure you've all experienced those dreaded keywords that just have a high ACoS and it doesn't seem to be going down. Before you reduce the bids of those keywords, make sure you watch this video, because in this video, I'm going to explain when you should hold those bids and not reduce them, why you should have those bids as they are, and lastly, how to best manage those keywords that have a high ACoS. So I'm George. I'm the founder of ClearAds. This is an Amazon advertising agency. We've been going since January 2011, and I am going to get started. So high ACoS, when to hold your bids. So if you got certain keywords that are generating a high volume of sales, be very wary not to just go in and start reducing the bids, because if you reduce the bids, it might reduce the number of sales that come through for that ASIN. So it's going to affect total sales per day of that ASIN. And this is going to be really important when it comes to kind of ensuring that, especially if you've got the bestseller badge and you're trying to keep that rank, it's really important that you keep that kind of in place. And you want to look at other areas before you start cutting this down. So these terms tend to bring in a bulk of the sales. They're relevant keywords and they're fairly broad, but they generate most of the sales. So you want to hold those terms for some time, and you want to just review their conversion rates as well, just to make sure that it's still high. Because if it's not high, it's got a bad conversion rate, you're going to have to look at other options. But that's the first thing, is when keywords generate a high volume of sales. Secondly, when to hold those bids is when a keyword is improving organic rank. So if you have certain terms and you're getting a higher conversion rate than the average conversion rate for that particular keyword, you need to be monitoring the organic rank for those terms, because ultimately it's going to have a really, really good impact on the sales that come in and your TACoS, right? So if you start going in and start reducing the bids, you're going to start losing search traffic and sales, and then you might then see a decline in your ACoS, decline in your TACoS, and that's something you have to be very wary of. And we've seen these tactics over the last few years where people have seen the ACoS go up and they want to reduce everything, and they just cut back drastically, and then it just has a knock-on effect. They see far less sales. Organic position placements are lower than they've been in the past, so you can't just not just disregard PPC and heavily rely on organic with most situations. There are some unique situations where people might not spend on PPC as much, but in most of the cases, like it is really important that you don't do anything drastic. So that's the first thing. Like, this is when to hold. Now, why not reduce the bids? What you want to do is you want to have more of a long-term approach. You don't want to start looking at your campaigns like in the here and now, last 7 days, this has happened, so I'm going to react. Because you might have the first point, which is short-term macro influences. So there may be a few promotions running with your competitors where they've reduced their pricing. It's a more attractive, and people are just buying theirs more than yours, right? This deal might run out in a few days. You reducing those bids is only going to have a bad impact on your account over a longer period of time, right? Also, you might, rather than just reducing the bids, it might be that you have to look at your offering. It might be that someone new has entered the market. There could be a whole range of different factors, especially if they're short term. You actually doing such a drastic cut can have a knock-on effect over a longer period of time. Um, the second thing to bear in mind as well is market share. So you reducing your bids, reducing your positioning and place, like your ads positioning, could then start to reduce how often, how much of the sales you're picking up. There may be also a few products where they are really pumping ad spend for a week or two, incredibly unprofitable, and then they cut back, right? So you want to be able to hold firm the positions that you have during these times, because those terms might seem bad in those 7 day in that 7 day window or the 14-day window, but on a longer period of time, they are actually a big part of your campaign success, and it's going to be important to keep them going. And then obviously ranking improvement. We have seen this time and time again when the keyword bids are reduced and then organic positioning starts to reduce and overall sales come down. So there are a few of the main points to bear in mind. Okay, so how can you better manage these keywords that have a high ACoS? So the first thing is you want to have them in their own campaign. You don't want them kind of congested with other keywords because you want to be able to see on a top level exactly how they're performing. You want to see instantly the moment you log in, okay, has it come down, the ACoS? Are we maintaining this slightly higher ACoS? You want to see that on a top level, right? So that's one of the reasons. Another one is in terms of how to better manage this is have a label, tag it. So if you're using tools like PackView, you can add a tag. This is a high keyword ACoS, a high ACoS keyword, but it's important. So we need to keep it as it is so that you don't put any bidding automation or rules onto that term, right? And then also monitor your conversion rates regularly. So keep an eye on, okay, what is the category conversion rate average in the last few weeks? What's the keyword been doing? You can also use a tool like Data Rover, which will give you an idea per keyword what the average conversion rate is. Are you maintaining an average for that term? Has it come down? Has it gone up? And then another thing you can also do is once you've got them structured and in their own campaigns, you can actually be looking at their placement bidding. So are you getting a higher ACoS but more sales through the top of search? If that's the case, maybe if you're going to make any reductions, you may want to do that to rest of search. That's just another option. Something else you may want to do as well is just on a regular basis review the search term reports, because if those keywords are relevant, right, and they're generating sales, even if it's a high ACoS, they're still relevant. So you're still sending good signals to Amazon. Now, within those keywords, there may be some search terms that are not relevant, right? And that's going to be a really good way to pick them out and get them out of the campaigns. And that's what you want to do. But this is really, really important that you don't just react to kind of a spike in ACoS. Really try and understand why there's been a spike. I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like, we will be more than happy to review your account. We can go in and give you our perspective in terms of how we think you can get the biggest bang for your buck, right? If you want to do that, you can click on the QR code here to my right, or you can scan the QR code, or you can click on the link below. Also, we do have a community on Amazon of as a community on School of Amazon brand owners that sell products on Amazon. So really, really good group of people. A lot of our clients are in there, a number of thought leaders in this space. So if you have questions around Amazon on a whole, it's going to be a great place to have them answered. There's also content that we don't publish publicly that we put in there that a lot of people have found useful, and we do have group discussions. So hope you found this useful, and I will see you all on the next one. Goodbye.